Thank you, panelists, for joining us. So today we are here to, talk about on the International Women's Day. So let me introduce to you Shraddha and Madhusmita. So Ms. Shraddha, she is the Assistant Vice President for Corporate Credit at Chinhan Bank. So first of all, I would like to congratulate them for the success that they have achieved and welcome them to share their stories and their inspiring journey with us. So thank you, Shraddha, and thank you, Madhusmita, for joining us. So Shraddha, please tell us about. Yes, please.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Shruti. It's such a nice initiative that you have taken. It is really a need of time, I feel, and it actually you have already highlighted the importance of women representation, and that we actually see that it finally kind of also shows that why there is a huge gap when it comes to senior management. So we see very few women representation, and I would also, let people know that if you see the board of directors of so many organizations, so the number is so skewed that at times I feel that whether it is because there are no somebody who's not able to represent, or whether at times they have just nominated somebody because women representation has been a mandate now. I feel that. So that actually shows the lack between, the number of people who are actually required to represent on board and bring diversity, from the top, wherein we keep on talking about diversity, which is only, we see that junior level, we have good number of females who join, and slowly that number keeps on reducing. So that is what I have also seen over these years. I feel that MBA per se, if you see that in engineering colleges, there would be a good representation of, girls who are actually joining. So probably from there to actually switch your gear to MBA, and especially the executive MBA, takes more than just your decision, I feel sometimes. So I feel it has to be it has to come in totality from the family as well as as a society. So if we have good number represented in executive MBA, we will also see more people joining the senior wagon, and then probably moving to board of directors. So this is what I feel, that over a period of time, that is what happens. And at times I've seen that even women, when they are at senior roles, they tend to take a back seat. So if there is a very challenging project which is about to come, probably because you are supposed to move to some other country, or then again you'll have so many things to think about, whether how my family is going to sustain, whether it's good for my family. So those things are also the things which I feel have been bothering many of us, probably. But I as of now I am pursuing PGPpro, and I'm quite satisfied with the curriculum and the kind of journey that I'm going with all my cohort members. And it would have not been possible without Shruti's mentorship, and also my family's support.
So, Shraddha, you rightly mentioned that, when women have to take a lead or they have to step up to, pick up a certain challenging project, there are so many other things that, push them backwards. So what is it, what are the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
See, for me, I'll personally say that I started my career from being a kind of a agri specialist, and I worked initially with small and medium enterprises. So during those days, I was really not sure, how to maneuver myself through this kind of like setup. And I had to interact with the people, those who were from diverse backgrounds. So the most important, I'll say that initially when I had started, I was not very sure how to actually uh, kind of move ahead and actually wherein, because I come from an agri background setup, there it is a very male dominated field. After that, I will say, if I talk about right now, slowly I had moved ahead and I have moved transition from there to corporate banking. And if I say the most important challenge would have been certainly to kind of uh, come forth and be very very like objective about your work. For me, because it was very difficult in terms of bringing what should I say, that as a because at times your personality also comes along with the work. So I am very objective about my work. So I have a plan with me. I'll execute that, and I would finish it off, and I would come back home, and this was what I was aiming at. So the work life balance, I was trying to hit it very strongly. However, that was not working in my favor. Like for maybe a year or so, I did that, but it was not working in my favor. In the sense, I realized that organization is expecting a little bit more from me. In terms of my contribution. So only meeting my KPIs would not serve me to move ahead with my way of functioning. So frankly, I had changed that, and I then started kind of taking on roles and responsibilities from other departments also, and slowly that has really helped me. And as a person, as a kind of an individual, I have got that opportunity to learn more about banking than what I was able to previously. And that has also given me a sense of business know-how, because my work is to analyze businesses day on day. So now, because when I am able to interact with so many departments and verticals, I understand business from the raw business to the one which are very very well managed. So I feel like, if to put it together, I'll say that we just cannot have a very skewed vision. If you really want to progress, then it will be good if if we try to understand the customer part, the uh, and also the supplier part, the customer part, the organization goal. And if organization goal is bigger than what your department can contribute, we just need to step up and try to contribute more, I suppose. So I hope I have answered, because it came out
Yes.
random. So
No, it's perfectly fine. So another aspect over here is that the personal brand. We don't talk about or think about a personal brand as an agenda. So it's
yeah.
probably not the thing that we do maintain as a parallel agenda in terms of looking at our careers or looking ourselves professionally. So what do you think has contributed to your building your personal brand, and how has how has it developed over the years, and how do you think about it, and you know, what is most important to build a personal brand for that matter?
Yeah, Shruti, I'll say that it's very important to actually learn a lot from your people or your leadership in your organization. So if we are able to get in contact with them, and if we are able to interact with them, then there is a lot of scope to learn many characteristics and virtues which are really required to move ahead in your career, or to become a better contributor as a team member. So I feel as a as a team lead, or as a as a manager managing a team, and sorry Shruti, come again Ikbar.
Yeah. So what do you think is important in terms of building a personal brand? What are the steps
Okay.
that you took and you would suggest?
Hmm. Yeah, so I'll say that being a good, first of all, being a good team member, and being able to actually contribute in your best capability is first thing which I feel is important. And once you move from being a team member and you start you have your own team, you start building your own team, then being very empathetic and to hit a balance wherein we are able to understand how your team members are working and how the output can be managed is one thing which I feel if as a leader, if we are aiming at, we should look into it. And if I see my personal growth and like what personal brand I carry, then I'll say that if people will recognize me for being a I'm very driven. So at times I may come out as very 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 objective that this is what we need to do. But on the same hand, I am also very empathetic about the team members that I am having, and over years I'll say that I am somebody who people can rely on, and I have developed this over a period of time. And I'll say that my most important trait would be that I'm able to understand the business part as well as the the human nature of the team members. So that I feel is what I'm capable of. So that has helped me a lot. And that was not there in me initially, but over a period of time, I'll say that this is what I'm known for in my industry.
Yes. So pursuing an MBA degree or maybe an executive MBA program, after certain years of spending time with your career and actually more than around 8 or 10 years of working. So what are the adaptations or how do you adapt your schedule and how pursuing an MBA helps you at this particular stage in your career? So what are the expectations that one should actually have from a program when you're entering after a certain amount of work experience, and that to a considerable amount of work experience?
Yes, I'll say that first realization will be that 24 hours are very, very good. We really have lots of time in our life, and at times when we say we don't have, it's not true. So yeah, everybody is having equal amount of time, and the more we try to actually gear ourselves up, I have realized I am really if one thing if PGPpro has really inculcated in me would be the valuing time actually in the most what should I say? I never fathomed that, I'll be able to really do so many things. Initially, I was really skeptical because, I have a child who's just 3 years old, and I do have a family. I have so many issues going on, just like anybody else. But once I have, embarked the journey, I really feel very good about it. Even I have tested my limitations, and I feel that time and energy, your focus, everything shifts. And you are even able to give more to your organization, to your family.
So that is where the numbers recede largely. So how do you feel the education or the MBA that you are pursuing, or how does it help break that glass ceiling of getting to the top of the organization?
If it's not just about doing an MBA, if you have done MBA, you know how to deliver a good presentation. You also know how to interact with a group of people. You also understand that if some other industry, if I am dealing with some other industry, I have people to whom I can go back and ask, I do have this sort of doubt, can you please help me? So that the gap, sometimes we feel the gap, if I'm moving from a leadership role to a management role, then we feel a gap, maybe I have a lack, or maybe some kind of imposter syndrome. So I feel if we executive MBA would not overnight change us, but it will just help us to understand the some very important fundamentals of business that actually all the organizations are aiming at. So with terms of profitability or revenue. So if we understand those, then we'll be in a very better position to kind of showcase ourselves in front of the management. And at times it comes because if you start seeing the bigger picture, if you start understanding how the organizations are functioning and what their strategy is going to be, so those things I have really, I have actually gained it from the course, and I feel this is what is required when you attain some level of experience and you are moving from mid or senior to management roles.
So, what would be your advice for women who aspire to get into top, levels in the institutions or the organizations that they're working at? What are the roadblocks that they might face, or they should kind of start overcoming at an early stage in their career itself?
For because we all are talking about women today, so some friend of mine, she has told me a very nice story. So she said that for a individual as a human being, be it a woman or a a male, so our plate is this size, and we have 5 fingers. So if my 5 fingers have capability of doing so and so, and before joining MBA I was able to do, say, for example, take my son to something, or, do this, do this, do this, do this. And now I am adding a 6th finger, which is, pursuing, something which was not a part of my agenda for maybe a year or maybe 2 years. So, I have to drop one of the finger. So it's a very, very important thing that I was very happy to learn about. So one finger doesn't mean the one which you can hand it over, you can delegate, or you can ask for help, or you can seek help from your family members. If somebody can take, or maybe even 80% of that finger work, so the new finger will get easily adjusted. So you will be able to justify your all parameters in your life which were important as per your priority, and without kind of compromising on the quality of deliverables. So
Right. So how important is mentorship, or how important, or what other things do you think the external environment should facilitate in terms of bringing out more female leaders? And
I feel, Shruti, whatever conversations we are having, we should have them more, and we should have them more frequently. Like,
hello everyone, and so this is the third event in the series of discussing the topics which are important for women professionals on the International Women's Day. And the aspect that we have brought in this discussion is that in the first discussion we discussed about the low representation of females in the MBA programs in India especially. And the second discussion revolved more about the expectations that women professionals have from the management programs that they are seeking to join. And this discussion is more about getting to the senior level roles. So going back to a survey in 2022 of around 250 Indian companies, we can see that the CEO level roles in India, the women have reached around 55% of these positions. And this is a very good number as compared to the global average of 24%. So today I have with me Ms. Krutika and Ms. Madhusmita. So Krutika, she is a professional who's engaged in the global pricing wing. So she's a global pricing manager with Garrett India. And Madhusmita is a technical specialist with Hexaware Technologies. So we have them here to discuss their perspectives as to what their career journey has been like. And since they are also headed to, the executive MBA program, so what are the decision making and what are the choices they have had to make to grow as professional in this, up the ladder in their organizations. So thank you, Kritika, and thank you, Madhusmita, for joining us. And please share your career journeys with us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for this discussion. My journey started way back. I mean, it's been close to 15 years now. And it's been a fantastic journey with a lot of learning, but then at the same time, it's not been easy. And this is nothing to do with gender. I think in general, if you're wanting to make a good career, wanting to make a mark, wanting to be authentic, as they say in today's time, it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of tenacity. And yeah, so my journey, as I said, started about 15 years back. And I started my journey with Honeywell, and now it is called Garrett. And I've done a lot of roles within Garrett, about 4 to 5 different roles. And it was a very conscious decision to get a new perspective every 2 to 3 years, because I think from the very beginning I was clear that I wanted to be kind of a generalist, than a very, let's say, than choosing an expertise in one particular function. So that has been a very conscious decision, and fortunately, I think the company also played along. I mean, obviously, thanks to the results that I was able to deliver. And I always got varied opportunities. So last 15 years, I started from procurement, and then moved into project management, then came to sales, into customer experience, and now I'm into the sales and marketing division. Yeah, different roles, very different challenges. In between, I also relocated to a different country, and again, a journey full of challenges. And now, after 15 years, I felt the real need to take an educational break. It's not going to be a break at all, but let's say, I just found it the right time to invest in myself now. Of course, this experience has been the biggest investment. I can't take anything from it, away from it. But now I felt the real need of stepping aside and really honing my strengths, because after 15 years now, you can't be doing different things and learning on the job. And this is totally my journey here. I'm speaking just out of my experience. That's why I've kind of taken this conscious decision to invest in myself and go for an executive MBA. It has not been an easy decision, because I'm also a mother of a toddler. So it's really juggling with many things on your hand. But I know it's going to be a worthwhile decision, especially with the kind of brand that I've gotten admit from. I think I'm really hopeful that it's going to work out well and add more to my professional journey. So that's been my journey so far, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing the journey. And Madhusmita, please tell us about your professional background and how you've the industries that you've worked with.
Yeah, so I am a software professional. I started as a in the been 11 years in this profession now. But eventually, when I started as a developer, I slowly moved to certain roles, the leader and then the team lead, and then I started moving towards more on the client side, where I had to gather some requirements from the client. And somewhere along the way, I felt like I belong more to the client management or the product management side than the development area. So I have been planning a transition basically in my career for quite some time. I wanted to move out of the technical side to something more on the product management area. I have been able to achieve that in my current organization. I'm doing a little bit of transition already, but then 11 years down the line, I feel like it is not a point to start from scratch, like learning everything from the beginning. So there should be a strong educational backup that I would really require to up my own skills and move up the ladder. And also at this point, I thought that it could be a now or never chance. Again, I am a mother to a 6-year-old. So it was again a tough decision for me as well. But I thought that as and when years go by, maybe I'll be facing different challenges and I wouldn't be able to take up an educational break as such at that point. So this was the time I thought that I should. And then ISB is a brand. So at this point of career, again, I have to get my skills and the knowledge from an institute like ISB will really be helpful for me to move ahead. So that is how I have got into the PGPpro program, which I'm sure will be helping me in this career path ahead.
But taking one step prior to your MBA journey, today it is actually very, very inspiring to hear from you about your stories, and that is the whole agenda, to share your stories and to give a vision to people who are aspiring for senior positions. So, since you've already spent 11 years and 15 years in your career, how has the ladder or the how has your journey up the ladder been like? What were the challenges that you faced, in terms of first gaining visibility and in terms of your own preparation of getting to a top position in the organization?
I'll go there, ma'am. So the journey up the ladder. So it's been a mix of up the ladder and sometimes even horizontal moves. And I think that's again sometimes your personal choice, as well as sometimes the organization also feels that you probably need more experience in a particular breadth. So before they move you up the ladder, you sometimes need to gain more experience across the board. But I think if I look back in these 15 years, I mean personally, it's I think it was a very it's a very level. It's been a level play field for me, ma'am. And it's also because, and I'm sure the experiences are very different out there. Huh? So it's just a very personal experience. I found it that it was a very fair and a level playing field. And if at all I faced a challenge, I feel, and now when I look back, it's just been my own inhibitions, and it's nowadays it's called this famous imposter syndrome, where you kind of have the self doubt whether you'll be able to do it or not. And when organizations are promoting somebody, they want that confidence from you. And if you lack that confidence in yourself, then obviously you start to lose out opportunities. So for me, it's been a great mix of going up and sometimes even horizontal, and totally merit based. But then at the same time, I think especially in the last 6 to 7 years, where I feel I could have even moved higher. But I think it was my own self confidence, or
Reservation.
sometimes self inhibition, self doubt, that held me back from taking higher positions. Because it's often, and I think that's where, again, generally speaking, women want to be perfect in something before they try to opt for it. And that's been my issue. And it's a very personal thing. So yeah, so in terms of moving up the ladder, it's been a very level play field for me. I've been fortunate that I've been given those opportunities. I took them wherever I felt I was confident. It could have been even much better had those little inhibitions not been there.
Yeah. So, Madhusmita, what are your thoughts on the kind of challenges that you have faced in growing within your organization and taking up those leadership roles? What have been the important highlights of this journey?
Yeah, so before starting, I was listening to Kritika, and I think I somewhere totally agree with that. Because even in my case, whenever I have proved myself, I have got the opportunities. I wouldn't say that there's an inequality in the organization, or people are looking down upon women as if like a woman will not be able to achieve or will not justice to the leadership. For that, I'm really thankful to the organization, because they do give a chance. There is no point. Uh, Whenever the challenges came, where all my personal issues maybe, or there again, women have this feeling of being perfect in both professional and personal level. We want to do both perfectly. And when sometimes, if I felt like if I dedicate a lot of time at my work, then I'll be missing out on giving too much time to my kid at home maybe, or so these were the times when I had to take a step back. And which is why maybe again the growth slows down a little, because we like to balance everything and we want to be perfect in every manner. But when I see so many other women achieving a lot, even after their family, even managing everything else, I feel like, again, yeah, the point of inhibitions that she was talking about, I totally agree to that. So that is something that holds us back. But otherwise, I mean, whatever I have achieved so far, I think it is also because of the confidence my seniors had in me. I mean, sometimes there were times where they saw things in me which even I could not identify, maybe. So I have got some extra opportunities sometimes just because my manager knew that I would be able to do that. He could see some special capabilities in me. So that is how I have been able to also transition, because it's not really easy to for a developer to transition to a completely different role. But yeah, it's been a mix, but it's been somehow somewhere it also has been a little bit of a roller coaster when it came to managing the family and the professional life together.
Yes, and I think we've had this conversation now through with Kritika. She's from the engineering industry, and you're from the IT industry. We had Shraddha from the finance and the banking sector, and we have professionals from the oil and gas sector. So all the in all the sectors, what has come across is that the opportunities are there for you to take. It is somewhere that the females are they have their own inhibitions, their own reservations, which are keeping them from taking up those opportunities, or maybe just trying to prove themselves and pick up that challenge to get up till there. So that's probably a very interesting. Yes, please.
Yeah, no, Bob, I was just wanting to add to that, right? I mean, this is again, I think from the space that we both are speaking from, because we are individuals, hardworking individuals. So I think we're kind of being a bit too harsh on ourselves. But also, I think it's the sensitivity in the organization, right? I think we both come from organizations where there is a growing sensitivity. We are not there yet. So again, just to your point about the challenge, I think it's the sensitivity in the organization, around women employees. I think that is on a growing path. It's improving, but we are not there yet. Because ma'am, often what happens is, when we are when we are taking up a higher role, a bigger role, it often conflicts with your personal life. It's very normal and very natural, right? But in that case, sometimes the organization also needs to step up to say that it's okay. If sometimes if you're not making the numbers, or if you're not up to the expectation, it's okay. So that kind of an environment is yet to happen. I mean, it's yet to be established in all organizations, and it's a huge step up. It'll happen eventually, but I think that is one of the biggest challenges, especially for us, women who are really trying to make a mark in this corporate world.
But don't you think providing a level play field is more important than taking care, the where do you balance the sensitivity part and the level play field part? So if it is level, then everybody should be treated in a similar way.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. I don't disagree. I think it's a very, very yeah. I mean, it's very difficult to find that balance, right? But I just feel I'm going through that phase, and again, I'm not blaming anybody at all. But at the same time, I think it's not a level playing field outside. At workplace, it is absolutely merit based, and it should not change. Totally of that opinion. But outside, at home, it's not yet a level playing field. And we again, we women are still very, very privileged, and with a lot of support system, but there are women out there who don't have this. So
Yes.
outside is definitely not a level playing field. So again, I think it's just that little balance. It'll come up. There's no answer to it at the moment, and it's happening gradually. I see it happening around, but I think that is a challenge for sure. If I, as a privileged person, feel that, then I'm sure women out there are feeling it as well.
No, that's definitely a challenge. But I think then the onus of, how to work on your own personal brand and your own personal goals
Yes.
and not compromising that, and then working the way around to handle everything in that manner, is probably the onus is on the women who want to take up a
Absolutely.
leadership role.
Absolutely. It's your call. Absolutely.
Yeah, so in case that, now that brings us to the point of discussing that you've chosen to invest in your own professional growth, and that through an MBA degree. So how did that come into the picture, and what are the plans that you have in the future, and how are you looking at the MBA education helping you break that glass ceiling? What is the agenda over here?
Madhusmita, you want to go?
Yeah. So for me, it's as clear. I mean, the first time, like I said, that I'm transitioning to a new role. So for me, MBA is going to play, because I've not done studies on business, how a business completely works. So to a role of a product management, where I have to understand everything about it, not just one part of building a product, but also how the customer acquisition happens, or what are the requirements currently in the market, or how the business will work for a certain organization. And that is where I feel that MBA is going to play a big role for me, because there is so much I still don't know, and there is a lot of perspective when you are also dealing with different customers from different backgrounds. And in a course like PGPpro, where I'll be having peers from different backgrounds, from different industries altogether, I think it's going to open a lot of new perspectives and doors for me in my thought process as well, which I am still not aware, because I'll only get that when I start doing my education. So that is primarily where I am looking forward to the MBA education, where I want to get different perspectives and then use that in my current role, so that I can understand the views also much better, and also be able to deliver as per the business requirements which are currently up in the market.
Right. And Kritika, what are your thoughts on that?
I think we're pretty much the same. I think for me, I have been in a very operational sphere all this while, and all along the way, I've probably inadvertently gained expertise in operational execution. Which is equally important. But then at the same time, what I am now looking out of this educational course is a bit of a strategic insight. And as I said, it's for me, it's been difficult to do that on the job. There are opportunities, but it's very difficult when you're leading a particular function. So I think my biggest takeaway from this course in the for the next 2 years would be a strategic insight. And of course, you'll have the best of peer group there, so just being able to wear those different hats and thinking from different perspectives, because now, especially when you're growing in the organization, you're always in a cross functional meeting. You're always sitting with different stakeholders, so just being able to anticipate their insights, anticipate questions, think through the answers, and again, because of thanks to the peer group that we're going to have, not being scared and having the courage to put forward your point without really thinking too much, without overthinking, as we normally do as women. So I think that's what is going to be my learning over the next 2 years.
Yes. And the personal brand now plays a very important role, that you are going ahead towards a senior management role and a senior leadership role in your organization. It is going to become even more important. And so far, you would have built a personal brand. You have thought about yourself as a professional, and built your what do you say, your persona, in terms of the aspirations you have and the knowledge that you bring to the table. So what is the advice that you would like to share with the women professionals who are aspiring to go to top positions, and perhaps even top MBA programs? So what would be your advice to women professionals around? Madhusmita, you could take this up first.
Yeah. So when it comes to building a personal brand, I think first of all, everybody needs to understand their own potentials, right? I mean, what is my specific quality? Every person would be different. So even though I'll be gaining a lot of knowledge in education, I'll be gaining a lot of perspective from different peers, but there's still something special about myself which has helped me to grow this far. in my career. So one has to first of all understand their own potential and then build a confidence around that. Secondly, I think the biggest thing that works for me, which is not, which is something I really go by most of the I go by that particular gut feeling also. You know, there has to be at some point you have to understand what you feel is right and then taking a stand on that. So even when I'm talking about going for an MBA education, I mean, there could be a lot of questions around it. There could be many people coming and giving various advices. Why do you even have to spend so much on an education like this at this point? Of why this, why that? But we have to be confident about our own thoughts, which comes from within, and that is something which is going to the confidence of on our own thoughts is something I think will take us ahead, because we cannot keep listening to everybody and building opinions on others' opinions. There has to be a point where I have to have my own opinion. And the last thing which I feel is, besides the various discussions on how women can grow and how women can do better, I think at certain point we should also not take too much pressure of proving ourselves as a woman, you know, because I have come across certain situations in my organization as well. When you get a promotion, there would be colleagues or there would be peers who would be giving some comments, having a certain opinion about you, that you got the promotion because you're a woman, you know, it's easier for you, or your manager would be impressed, or he must have given you out of sympathy or whatever. So I think that is also somewhere we should not take too much pressure about that. Okay, now I have to prove myself even more just to prove that, yeah, I am good at it. It's like, it's okay. There's no need to take so much of pressure in proving. It's better to invest much of the time in what the work I'm doing, and eventually if somebody agrees or not, it depends on them.
Very true. And Kritika, what would be the advice that you would like to share for women professionals who aspire to get to the top positions and maybe top MBA programs as well?
I think, but from my side, I would say, be authentic. And I know it's a very big word, but what I truly mean is, for example, in my case, I've always been told that be more assertive. You don't need to be very nice always. You don't need to be liked by everybody. We understand that, but sometimes that's just your unique leadership style. That's just your unique way of getting things done. And that's where I'm using the word authentic, because that is me, that is how I am. And if that is your unique style, stick to it. It'll work for you. It's taken me a long time to be okay with this thought that if I'm not as assertive as my male colleague, if I can't say no so easily, then I'm not good enough. It's not the case. I can even politely say no, or I can say no in different ways. But that's just my style, and it has worked for me, and I believe it will work for me as well. So I think that is that would be my biggest advice to all the aspiring women, working women out there. Working or not working, it doesn't matter, but just stick to your true style. You don't have to be what others are, and you don't have to uh, be a sheep in a wolf's skin. If you are what you are. And as Madhusmita said, go by your gut feeling. I think we often ignore that. But if you think that is right, you may go wrong. So, let's not be so bogged down by failures, but trust your instinct.
Right. And I think, there have to be more conversations of, professionals who are seeking out different avenues to build their own professional strength, like you and Madhusmita, you've had a great career journey, and thank you for sharing that.